Andrew McCART, IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. I'm here with my good friend. It seems like I see you everywhere in the world, whether it be Newcastle, London, Vegas. You're in my home city of Edinburgh, man. Welcome.
You can.
You can, man. Listen, I love that, man. I love the fact that you know that. Ben, you are in Scotland. There's a reason why you're here. Finally, we're going to see Josh Taylor versus Jack Catterall, man. You're a busy, busy man. You've got fighters coming out your ears. How tough a fight is this for Josh, though, against Jack Catterall?
Josh turns up 100%. It's a showcase performance, but it's our job to make sure no fight's ever an easy fight. It's our job to make sure that we put the work in, put in the hard work and the smart work in the gym and in the preparation to make sure that, you know, this homecoming is a showcase performance.
We seen last week George Kambosos and Teofimo Lopez. Now, I was with Teo quite a lot in Vegas and stuff like that, and every time I was trying to talk about the Kambosos fight, there was always that sort of sway towards Devin Haney, or that sway to Josh Taylor, and it was majority of the talk, 9% of the talk was about these two fighters that he hadn't had in front of him in Kambosos. Now, we've seen fighters slip up before, Ruiz and Joshua and stuff like that. That was a slip up from Joshua. Again, we've seen it again a couple of weeks ago in Lopez. There's a lot of talk about Josh and Crawford. There's a lot of talk about him moving up to be a two-weight world champion. What do you have to do as a friend and as a coach to make sure his mind's 100% on Jack Catterall?
I keep reminding him that he's worked his whole life to complete boxing, to earn every belt out there, to be the man, undisputed. And you got someone trying to swoop in and take all of it off you in one fight. No chance. You know, that itself must be a motivating factor, and I just keep reminding him of that. Josh isn't the type of guy that you need to motivate anyway. If anything, you know, you need to try and encourage him to tone it down at times. He wants to be flat out 100% all the time. But the difference is with the Teofimo fight is, like you say, when you mention these names to him, he would oblige and talk about these guys. We're not interested in talking about anybody. Life, February 27th doesn't exist in this Josh Taylor camp. There's only February 26th, and there's no discussions of anybody else. Nobody else matters barring Jack Catterall. And we're humble in preparation, respectful of Jack's skills, to make sure that Josh goes in there 100% and does a serious number.
That being said, how dangerous is Jack? We had his 26-0. Hasn't fought in a year though. Hasn't fought the opposition that Josh has fought. So how dangerous as a fighter is Jack going on February 26th?
Every fight, he's a mandatory challenger. Every fight's a dangerous fight, but the reality of it is he's not on Josh Taylor's level, and it's our job to make sure that it shows come fight night. You know, in his biggest fight against O'Hara, I wouldn't say that he rose to the occasion, but it's not to mean that he won't rise to the occasion in this fight, and we'll be preparing as though he's the best fighter that's ever stepped foot on this planet. So as I say, it's here, and the opportunity is here for Josh to have a real showcase performance in his homecoming, and it's our job to make sure that he does everything that he needs to prepare properly for Jack and make sure that that's what he does come fight night.
You said showcase performance. When you say that, is the stoppage on the cards? Can you stop somebody like Jack, who I can't remember him even being down once in his career? I don't know if you know he has or not, but I can't remember him being down. I can remember him being hurt a couple of times, but not buzzed or anything like that. So can you go in there and stop somebody like Jack Catterall?
Yeah, Josh 100% is capable of stopping Jack Catterall. You know, I think it would depend on the more willingness Jack is to come and have a go and to try and win. But you know, if the levels are showing and he decides that, you know, sometimes it can happen that fighters want to then try and get through the fight, that it's Josh's job to make sure that he knows what to do and how to do it in a safe manner to break him down and get the stoppage that way as well.
Just staying on you though, Ben, I mean, you've got a fighter out next week in Mark Dickinson. He's fighting in Newcastle. You've got a big stable now and stuff like that, and Lee McGregor's fighting as well, I believe, on the 18th. But for you, how do you manage all this? I mean, you're a busy man in Vegas and stuff like that. I mean, you've no grey hairs yet, which is pissing me off. You've still got a full head of hair, which is pissing me off. So how do you manage all this? How do you manage to get through life and I mean, still look dressed, still look smart even and stuff like that? Man, I look like a bag of shit when I come off travelling, but you look good, man. How do you manage it? Give me some tips, basically.
Do you know what it is? I don't. You know, there's all these lads in the gym, but the lads that are coming through are aware that I cannot. You know, the lads at the top are my commitment and have my full focus, and you know, the lads that are coming through, of course, I'm working with them. But when I have to go away, I have to go away and take care of business at the top end of it. But I love what I do, so you know, of course, I enjoy working with the fighters that are just coming through. I enjoy working with the fighters at the top of the sport. But it's just planning, it's preparation, it's teamwork. I'm grateful to have Barry Smith, Lee Wiley, helping out, taking some of the workload off, and when you love what you do, it's not an issue. It's not an issue. I flew back for Shabazz. I love what I do.
For some people that don't know that you were in Vegas, you flew back the day Shabazz was fighting, done his corner and flew back that morning. I mean, you were less than 24 hours in the UK, but that's testament to the type of man you are. I said that in the interview when I spoke to you with Shabazz, but a lot of people might not know that. You might get a lot of stick on Twitter for being this pretty boy and all that. I give you stick on Twitter for being a pretty boy, believe me, it's behind your back though. But you do all that. You are committed to your fighters, which is good to see.
Yeah, of course. Look, I always say, I couldn't, what I say, I don't talk bullshit. And I say that I treat every fight the same, whether it's a 4-rounder or a 6-rounder. They get the same treatment as anybody else, and that was a step-up fight for Shabazz, and I wasn't going to abandon him for that fight. Whether it meant I had to fly in and fly out like that, it was what it was. That's the commitment that I make. Fighters sacrifice and have to go through so much to prepare themselves for battle and to go to war, and it's a sacrifice that I had to make, and in my eyes, it's a small one. It's not a problem at all.
Yeah, well, you fly business, you don't fly economy. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. One final one on Josh Taylor, Jack Catterall. I mean, a tough fight, good fight for Scotland. Us fans, we've been starved of big boxing events since probably Josh fought last in 2019 against Baranchik. But we finally get Josh back in here, and couldn't bring the fans to Ramirez, which was gutting. But what can we expect February 26th from Josh Taylor?
Yeah, again, as I said, it's a homecoming for Josh. He completed boxing. It's a homecoming for him to show, to have a showcase performance, and that's exactly what it'll be.
Ben, as always, a pleasure to speak to my man. I would speak about Devin Haney and all that, but I believe Oscar got you out in Vegas, so there's no point in me going over old ground and stuff like that. But well done last weekend with Devin as well, and well done with everybody else that you've got on your thing. And until the next time, we'll see you later.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. Thanks, mate.